Haven't we all had the fantasy of the perfect cyberpunk world? A world where man and machine is one and everything is about pleasure, having a good time and not having a single worry in the world. Let me present to you Turbo Overkill that takes place in paradise, where a rogue AI has turned everything it could into monstrosities, even the buildings. The place where everything is out to kill you and the remains of the residents of paradise is locked in, hiding from it all. In other words, the complete opposite of the ultimate cyberpunk fantasy, but a fucking good setting for a fast-paced movement boomer shooter. Turbo Overkill has finally reached its 1.0 release, and it's done so with an absolute bang. Published by Apogee Entertainment and developed by Trigger Happy Interactive, this one-man developed game is a goddamn masterpiece in so many ways, and I'm here today to help you decide if this masterpiece is worth your time and money or not, as effective as I possibly can, because I'm running out of time and I need to do this.
So let's get it done.
Now, if you decide the game is for you, don't forget that you can buy it using my affiliate link linked in the description. That way you support the channel with no extra cost as you buy the game. Simple as that. So first of all, the game actually does have a story, and it goes something like this. So in this game, you play as Johnny Turbo, a cybernetic murder machine whose goal is to clean up the streets of the neon-saturated cyberpunk dystopian paradise. The city has been overrun by a rogue AI called Sin, who controls legions of biomechanical monsters and mercenaries that form the roster of enemies that you will face in this game. However, that is not all, my friends. The story evolves and offers twists, turns, drama, action, death, and a super awesome AI sidekick.
They cannot win, sir.
And it just never ever stops, just as the gameplay. But is the story any good? Well, yeah, it is. It never interrupts the flow of the game. It mostly tells it between the episodes, and it is somewhat easy to follow along with, even for an egghead-shaped man like myself. Now, the gameplay is really something extra in this one, like really something extra. It's one of the fastest, if not the fastest shooter out there that actually takes itself serious, that is. And it can feel overwhelming, especially since you got this crazy speed that the game wants and encourages you to use, and augments, abilities, and a ton of weapons. Actually, a whopping 14 weapons, including drivable vehicles, all with alternate fires, that the game also wants and encourages you to use. And if all of these tools, mechanics, alternative fires are not used properly, well, you will encounter difficulty spikes that might feel frustrating to get through. What I'm trying to say is, don't be like me and forget that you have all of the tools that the game offers at your disposal. Experiment, go wild and crazy with everything from abilities to augments to alternate fire modes. This is the way to get through this game and fly around the arena-shaped battlegrounds like Spider-Man himself, or else you will eat bullets for breakfast.
This is the way.
Now, all of these things that the game offers, they all feel incredibly well polished and thought out. At first, I was a little skeptical due to the fact that there have been so many tools and mechanics in the game, but fret not, friends. Everything serves its purpose, whether it be for you to navigate through the level or for you to find the correct playstyle that you enjoy. There is something for everyone here. And it is a freaking blast when you remember to utilize everything at your disposal to slay everything you see with. So if you're not catching the drift here, guys, the gameplay is absolutely amazing. It's fast-paced, it's deep, and most of all, it is goddamn fun. And the same actually goes for the levels. The game offers different segments of platforming, vehicle driving, train levels, and a ton more, constantly making everything feel fresh and not repetitive. And the same goes for how the levels are actually designed, with combat in mind. There is an endless amount of possibilities for you to tackle what's in front of you. Take the high ground, go low, snipe from afar, go guns blazing, use a power-up or an ability, jump and grapple with your hook and fly around like Spider-Man, or use your chainsaw leg and skateboard through the arenas like a freaking wild man. The gameplay and the levels are top of the top in this, and all of of this being developed by mostly one person just freaking blows my mind. And the enemies, well my friends, they are no different. Here is everything that you come to expect from cannon fodder that you can slice with your chainsaw leg, that you can pull out whenever you want and use a skateboard to fuck shit up with. 2 even more tankier enemies. But there is also a bunch of enemies that you did not come to expect. Like drones who can only be killed from above by blasting their exposed brain to bits and pieces. And that is just a small taste of what you will experience in this. There is a lot more, like each episode also ending with a boss fight. And not only does the game offer an insane variety in its enemies, they are also very, very bloody. The gore, it's actually quite magnificent in this one. It sounds very wet in some weird way, but it is so pleasurable. Listening and looking at the enemies turning into pools of blood and chunks. Well, how about the freaking weapons, Slim? Well, the weapons, they are very unique. Very fun when you got ammo for them. And they do not lack the punch. They do not lack the visual feedback. But some enemies do take a whole lot of bullets to take down, which in return makes the weapons seem a bit weak. I'm generally not a fan of enemies having overly much health and being bullet sponges. And I'm not in this game either.
This party's a bust, sir. Let's blow this joint.
And just as there is a lot of enemy variety, there is also a whole lot of enemies that can eat your bullets for breakfast, which is not that nice of a thing, honestly. But Slim, how about the shotgun, the boomstick, the holy grail of weapons? How is that like? Well, let me tell ya. Well, the single barrel is the most unsatisfying of them to use, but it is still pretty damn cool. And it does rock an alternative fire that loads up multiple shots into one big bang, which is pretty nice, but it takes too freaking long to charge up. But the double barrel shotty on the other hand, well, it might not really have the audio for it, but it does feel really crunchy and nice with an alternative fire that lobs sticky grenades, and it goes something like this. Now the soundtrack is probably the game's weakest point. And it's a pretty damn good soundtrack, don't get me wrong, it's just not top of the top, like the rest of the game. It does rock a mix of cyberpunk with some dramatic movie-like cinematic audio songs-ish. It's a pretty weird mix, it's okay, but it's not top of the top.
What are you talking about?
However, I almost don't want to say it, but the visuals, well, yet again, it's just top of the freaking top. It's the perfect blend of retro and modern that I've been talking about so many times. You have these crunchy pixels everywhere, but mixed in is some amazing lighting, some really cool but fairly low poly models, and an atmosphere surrounding the world that is just chef's kiss.
You run, you hide, you fight, all of it a meaningless charade. You dare stand before me?
In conclusion, guys, this game is fucking amazing, okay? But consider what I have said earlier about the game being fast-paced and offers a hell of a lot of tools at your disposal. This is not your point-and-click-to-kill shooter, it is much, much deeper than that. But if that is what you're looking for, I can confidently say that you will have one of the best FPS gaming experiences with this one. So hit that affiliate link, and while letting it load, enjoy these videos.